talking about your responsibility, right? So assuming the event occurred before your report is signed, your duty is to design and perform audit procedures, and obtain any evidence, of any events that may require adjustments or disclosure in the financial statements. So that's your responsibility. Assuming the events, the second one is assuming the events occurred after signing your report, but before your report was issued. There's a difference between when the report was signed and when it was issued. What do you think about this? What will be my responsibility as an auditor?
So if it's going to affect the kind of opinion you are going to give, can you basically give a negative assurance where you see this opinion you're giving is based on the information you had prior to the signing of the report?
No, so this is not prior to signing. No, this is between. It occurred after signing the report. You've already signed the report, but before the report was issued.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so as I was saying, so because you've already signed the report, you may not be able to change it. So you can say that if it's unqualified, this unqualified opinion is based on what you have worked on, or the kind of information that you were privy to.
Okay, so what do you think the auditor's responsibility will be? Would he have a responsibility or will you not have any responsibility?
Well, I think you have a responsibility to disclose.
Okay, good point.
Before the issue.
Any other thoughts? What do you think? Does anyone have any thoughts, please? We are all discussing, no? Assuming the event occurred after the signing of the report, but before the report was issued. Okay, let me just explain. So there's some responsibility here. There's some responsibility, If you look at the event, or the matter, and you realize that if this matter had it been known to the auditor earlier, or had it occurred earlier, it would have caused the auditor to probably amend the report. Then, because this thing has already been signed, what you do is you have to discuss this with management. You have to discuss with management and see how they intend to address this matter in the financial statement. So some discussion with management is very, very key here, because here the report has already been signed. The report has already been signed. It's just yet to be issued. Okay, question 4.
Question 4. The Auditor General of Ghana has unfettered power, but not subject to the control of any other authority in the discharge of his duty.
Wait, this question, we did it in the past, like in the previous past question that we worked on, right? The Auditor General. True or false? We've done it before. Okay, just go on. Just go on. It's fine.
Okay. Therefore, he refuses to accept any directives from cabinet ministers. Evaluate the extent to which it can be said that the Auditor General is not subject to direction of any other authority. B.
Okay, let's look at that first. So, evaluate the extent to which we can say that the Auditor General is not subject to direction from any other authority. So first of all, we need to know. I think we discussed it. It wasn't exact, but we discussed something around this in the prior past question. So please, this particular question, this Auditor General question, maybe this is last sitting or previous sitting, so maybe it might not appear. But this question, they like to ask questions around the Auditor General. I don't know why. So it might be something you might want to take note of. It came in last sitting, so I don't know. Maybe it might not appear again. So first off, you need to establish where the Office of the Auditor General derives their power, and who appoints the Auditor General. So first of all, you need to know that the Auditor General, their office is enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. If you go into the 1992 Constitution, you see the Office of the Auditor General. That's the first thing. You need to know also that he's appointed by the president. His own is by appointment, not by election. He is appointed, or the president appoints him. That's number two. We are setting the parameters, because if we are looking at authority, we need to know where the authority came from and all that. And so now, once we've established that, we need to know who the Auditor General is. The Auditor General, he supersedes or oversees the Ghana Audit Service. And the Ghana Audit Service, they are in charge of, audit affairs when they're in Ghana. They are in charge of audit affairs in Ghana. So the Auditor General, the Auditor General is like the head of, he's the head of the Ghana Audit Service. He's the head of the Ghana Audit Service. So that's also important to know. That's also important to know. So these are 3 points that you need to establish even before you go into evaluating the extent. You need to establish that, one, the Office of the Auditor General is not something that is just up somewhere. It's in the Constitution. Number two, he's appointed by the president. Number three, is the head of the Ghana Audit Service. Number four, he's also part of what we call the Audit Service Board. The Audit Service Board, So the Audit Service Board, they are engaged in ensuring like the efficient administration of, the Ghana Audit Service. That's what they do. Okay. So it's on this board. But more importantly, how you be able to answer this question very effectively is that if you go into the Constitution, you realize that it states categorically that in the performance of the Auditor General's functions, he shall not be subject to direction or control of any other person or authority. And this is a political issue, right? In Ghana, it's a whole political issue where the Auditor General, people raise questions as to whether they are actually independent. But the Constitution has said that his authority shall not he shall not be subject to any direction or control of any other person or authority. So that's very, very important to know. That's very, very important to note. However, I hope you are following. I'm trying to break it down so that you see the extent of the Auditor General's authority. However, there are situations where the president, might direct the Auditor General to audit a public account that may be in the public interest. The president can direct, and if you like to read the Constitution, it's in Article 187. If you read Article 187 going down, you see all of this. The president can direct the Auditor General to actually, audit a public account, for the purposes of the public interest. So even though they are not directed, there's some limitations there because the president can come in and give an instruction. Because overall, the president appointed them. The president's appointment. That's why there are issues around whether it's a political appointment or it's actually an independent appointment because somebody appointed you. So if based on that, you've been able to evaluate the extent to which it can be said that the Auditor General is not subject to direction. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think that's what I wanted to say. Okay. You know what? This question 4 around the Auditor General, I would want you to go on it. We would encounter it as we go through our classes, but I want you to go through it. I think time is already fast spent. So let's call it a day. And then next week, we dive into our lectures. Unfortunately, this is the end of past questions. I never think that it will take a lot of time, but this is the end. The rest is your responsibility. I've done my best as much as I can. So the rest is your responsibility to go through the past questions. I've shown you that these past questions, there are patterns in it. You don't need to finish everything before you go through past questions. So just go through and let's see what happens. All right, thank you and have a good weekend. Okay, the weekend is already a week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Bye.